All right, my good people, in this video, or if you're watching live in this lecture, we are going to be talking about articles. Now, we've mentioned articles before, but today we are going to go a little bit deeper into what articles are and so forth. So to begin with, what are articles? Articles are words that define a noun as something that is specific or something that is not specific. For example, after a long day, the cup of tea tasted particularly good. Now here, by using the article the, we are taught, the reader or the person who's listening knows exactly which cup of tea we're talking about, okay? So by using the article the, we've shown that it was one specific day that was long ago, that was long, and one specific cup of tea that tasted good. After the long day, so it's a very specific day and a very specific cup of tea, okay? When we are using, or when we use the article a or an, we create a general statement. So for example, after a long day, after a long day, a cup of tea tastes particularly good. Any long day, and any cup of tea. Okay, so when we use the, it's more specific. When we use a or an, it is more general. Okay, so the is a definite article. It limits the meaning of a noun to one particular thing. So it's very defined. It's definite. It's a definite article. For example, you might ask your friends, are you going to the party this weekend? If you're talking to the friend, then that person probably knows which party you are talking about, okay? So you use the party. If it's a general question, you can say, are you going to a party this weekend? And the other person might reply, yeah, that was my plan. Or they can say, no, I don't have a party this weekend. But when we say the, we are talking about a very specific thing. So the definite articles tells you that your friend is referring to a specific party that both of you know about. You know about it, your friend knows about it. And the cool thing about the is that it could be used with singular nouns and plural nouns and uncountable nouns or non-count nouns, okay? So here are some examples. Please give me the hammer. Okay, we know exactly which hammer. Please give me the red hammer. The blue one is too small, right? We make it more specific. Please give me the nail. Please give me the large nail. It's the only one strong enough to hold this painting. Please give me the hammer and the nail, okay? So very specific hammer and very specific nail. And to give, for example, in this one, well, we have two hammers. The person we're asking can see a red hammer and they can see a blue hammer, okay? So you wanna make it more specific, please give me the red hammer, okay? Any questions? All right, so now we have the indefinite article. An indefinite article takes two forms. It's the word a when it precedes a word that begins with a consonant, and the word and when it is with a vowel, which is something we talked about in other videos or other lectures as well. So the indefinite articles indicate that a noun refers to a general idea rather than a particular thing. So it's nothing specific, it's something in general. For example, you might ask your friend, should I bring a gift to the party? Okay, this is a general statement. You're not asking about a particular gift. You're just asking if you can bring or you should bring a gift to the party, okay? In this example, your friend will understand that you are not asking about a specific type of gift or a specific item, but what you're asking is in general. I can say, I'm going to bring an apple pie. Again, we're not talking about a specific apple pie. We are just talking about apple pie in general. Okay. So there are a few exceptions to the general rule of using a before a word with a consonant or an, which is, like we were saying again in other videos, the first letter of the word horror is an H, which is a consonant, but it is unpronounced. So the first letter that we hear is O. So in spite of spelling it horror with H, it begins with a vowel. So we use an, okay? For example, my mother is an honest woman is incorrect. Even though it begins with H, this is kind of like what we were talking about earlier with U, okay? So even though it begins with H, the first sound that we make is O. So we say, my mother is an honest person. Okay, similarly means almost the same. When the first letter of a word is a vowel that is unpronounced with a consonant sound, we use A. As an example, she is an United States Senator is incorrect. Okay, so we say she is a United States Senator because the U here is not pronounced as a vowel. It sounds more like a consonant than anything else. Okay, so this holds true for acronyms as well. For example, when I say I have a master's in business administration, if I want to say the acronym, I say I have an MBA because M sounds like it's a sound, MBA. So we start with, we say an MBA. So we have an LCD display, we have a UK-based company, we have an HR department, a URL. Okay, do you guys see the difference?
Yes.
Hopefully you guys do. Okay, so we use the article before an adjective. So sometimes an article modifies a noun, and that is also modified by an adjective. So for example, the red car. In this case, the doesn't go right before car, it goes before the adjective, okay? So our rule is article plus adjective plus noun, okay? So if the article is indefinite, a or an, based on the word that immediately follows. Consider the following example. Eliza will bring a small gift to Sophie's party. We have a, right, plus adjective, small. Oops. Okay, we have adjective, and then gift, which is our noun. All right. We cannot use indefinite articles with non-count nouns or uncountable nouns, okay? So like we said before, we can't use it with information, and information is not correct. The information, the air, the milk, the wine, okay? So uncount nouns and things that are too large or too enormous to be counted, because these cannot be counted, so you should never use them with a or an. Okay, so remember the indefinite article is only for singular nouns. And again, we have two main types of articles. We have a and the. Cool?
Cool.
Awesome. I'm not going to talk about this today. Okay. And occasionally, sometimes, articles are omitted altogether, so we don't need to use them before certain nouns. In these cases, the article is implied, but not actually present. So we're kind of saying, oh, it should be there. You understand that it's there, but we don't actually use it. This implied article is sometimes called a zero article. Okay. Often, The article is omitted before the noun that refers to an abstract idea. So an abstract idea is something that is not really solid, right? It's not really there, okay? It's like this weird or different concept, okay? So these are our example. Let's go out for a dinner tonight. Let's go out for dinner tonight. Okay, so either way would work, but here it's omitted because it's implied. So it's kind of, we don't need to have it there. We could have it there, but we don't need to because it is implied, okay? So the creativity is a valuable quality in children. Creativity is a valuable quality in children. We don't need the in this case because we're just talking about creativity in general, all right? And so in this case it's implied that the creativity is what we're talking about, especially because it's a non-count.
Teacher,
yes.
But if we say the creativity of John is valuable quality in him,
if you say the creativity, that would be correct too. But it's usually more common in this case to leave it out, okay? And these are more like case by case kind of thing. For example, I can say although it's not incorrect to say the education is great, I can say education
is great.
Education is great. Okay.
Yes.
Here, in this case, we are implying that it's a very specific education. For example, the education.
You can't use an education, right? Because education
No.
is not countable. Education is general.
Exactly. Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Okay. So, and another rule is many languages or nationality are not preceded by an article. Okay. So, for example, I studied the French in high school for 4 years. That's not correct.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So, because French is a nationality, French is a language. Okay. So I won't say I studied the French in high school. I say I studied French in high school. There's no need to specify which French, okay?
Because it's already specified.
Also, yeah, so it's something that you already know. There aren't many French. There's only one French, okay? So sports and academic subjects don't require an article either. I like to play the basketball is not correct. Okay. I like to play basketball. That's correct. My sister is always good at the math. That's not correct because it's a subject. My sister was always good at math is correct. Cool. Any questions on the lecture?
No, thank you.
no.
Awesome. So that is it for this lecture, and we will continue with other ones as well.